Hey y'all, my name is Lita Monet and I'm here with Chaz and we about to get into her mental health check-in. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, y'all. So to start off the video, I like to ask my guests what would they rate their mental health. So to start this off, to break the ice, what would you rate your mental health right now?
I would say it's like a 6 or 7.
Okay, now what's the components of this 6 and 7?
I feel like I'm at a very high point in my life right now, mentally.
Mm-hmm.
I have my days where I'm like off, but I feel like I'm at a pretty good place right now. I'm like in between 1 and 10. I'm like in the middle.
Okay, so y'all, I recently just got my book published on Barnes & Noble. My new journal is kind of towards prompts. And as y'all know, my prompts is the questions that I ask on the interview. So Chaz is honestly the first person to see the new book in person. So we're going to start with a question from each chapter. So the first chapter is childhood trauma.
Oh, of course we start with the childhood trauma. Great.
How has your childhood trauma impacted your ability to feel joy?
That's a good question. Well, with my childhood trauma, I would say my dad hasn't really been in my life. So me to feel joy, especially when it comes to dating or just having a manly figure in my life, it's kind of hard to be happy or to be like at a high point.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard. It's really hard because I don't really know what it's really like to have a stable man in my life. So if I get the opportunity, it's like, ooh, where do I go with this?
We're going to dive into support systems. So who is the first person that comes to mind when you hear of support system?
You.
Really?
Yeah, honestly, you.
What? Like, it kind of like shocked me to like, nope. Like when I asked that question without having it in the book, like I just don't ever think of myself coming up to people.
So honestly, I've known you for years now. We aren't super close. We don't hang out every day, but you check on me more than people I actually would think check on me. So you, for sure. You've always supported me. You've always told me about myself. She's very blunt. So
I am very blunt. I'll be trying to be mean blunt. Like I'm not a mean blunt, but I'm just a blunt. Like
take it or leave it.
You know what you're doing now. Like, come on. Oh, but I appreciate that. I really do. Because I don't know. I don't be thinking I'd be making too much of an impact, but I know I'll be somewhat in the lines of making it.
Yeah, it's like, no.
No, but I do appreciate that. So, I know, however I can be a support system to people, I'll be trying to. But that was nice. Oh my God, I'll be feeling loved.
Should take it in.
So, week 3, chapter 3.
Ooh.
This chapter is about dating. What qualities about yourself sabotage your relationship?
Ooh, my anxiety, my attitude. I'm very stern.
Okay.
Very honest. So sometimes, men or females, whichever one it is, they don't like it. So those two, yeah. I think it's also mainly my anxiety because I overthink way too much.
Okay. What are you trying to avoid in your relationships then? Because if you have anxiety in relationships, friendships, it's something that you don't want to happen, you fear that happen, or whatever you overthinking.
I don't want to be alone.
Oh,
I don't want to be hurt. Definitely don't want to be alone.
I feel you. You're not alone though.
Another thing, I just thought about it. It took me a minute to really think about that. My depression.
How does that play a part in your relationships?
There's days where I could be super, super happy, and there's days where I just don't want to be bothered. I don't care who's around me. It can be God himself. I just don't want to be bothered. Really, really, really emotional. Really, really sad. Really low. And sometimes, depending on the relationship that you're in, some people don't know how to deal with depression, so they kind of just try to
steer away from it.
Yeah, it don't help. It just makes it worse.
How long have you dealt with depression?
Since high school. Yeah, so it's been graduated in 2018. It's 2023, so a few years. I've learned how to deal with it, but I still have my days.
Okay. How do you cope with it?
For one, I'm on antidepressants. Those don't help everybody, so I'm not saying get on pills. If you can avoid them, please do it, because these withdrawals are horrible, y'all. But other than that, I want to start journaling. I have not started journaling yet, but I've learned I like to talk about my issues. So I'm thinking maybe if I keep them a little bit privater, maybe that'll help a little bit. Other than that, I listen to music. Find something to keep myself occupied.
Okay. What would be some advice you'll give someone with depression?
Don't trust everybody. Take care of yourself. If you need help, go get it. Don't be afraid to go get it. Reach out. Yeah, just reach out. Ask for help. Don't be scared too. You're not doing nothing but hurting yourself.
With that, because I know you do mental health broadcasts on Instagram.
Yes, yes, yes.
How did you start doing that broadcast?
So I've always been one to talk about my mental health, and I also been one to be alone when it comes to my mental health. I can be out, be partying, all that, be around everybody, but when I get home, mental health still happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been one to be alone, and I feel like that it's good to have. I know there's other people in the world that deal with mental health that don't talk about it. They're afraid to talk about it. So I said, why not make something that everybody can be a part of? I can't even see the people that are actually in the broadcast. Anybody that joins, I think there's like 70 people in there now. I can't even see the people that actually join the broadcast. So it's actually pretty private.
Okay.
So I feel like it's good to help other people.
That's good. I do like that you made that broadcast. Only because it is like a safe space, another safe space, for people to just be
It's
like,
not
okay,
like
let
a
me just look
consistent
at
thing
it.
either. It's like it's random. Like there's some days I won't even post in there. Some days I'll see something and I'll share it. And a lot of people have actually reached out to me privately and said thank you for the podcast.
That's good. I mean, you're doing something really good.
Mm-hmm.
But for our next question, we are on friendships. So now she just looked around like that.
Ooh.
So how do you show up as a friend?
How do I show up as a friend? So when it comes to that, I've always been the giver.
Mm-hmm.
I will give you the shirt off the back if I have to. If I have $100 in my account and you need $100, let me give it to you. I will go broke. I don't know. I'm just a giver.
Mm-hmm.
I need to stop doing that, but I am a giver.
I like that though, because it's how you treat people. They don't usually treat you the same way back, and that's like universal with everybody. People got their own ways to treat people if it feel like it benefit them.
For sure.
So, have you ever been a bad friend?
Maybe. I mean, everybody has their days. Not everybody's perfect. We all make mistakes. So yes, I have.
Mm-hmm.
But I've learned from it, and move forward.
Okay. What is your definition of success?
Financially stable, mentally competent, emotionally available, physically okay, I would say.
Okay.
But definitely emotionally available.
So how does that pertain to you as of today?
Well, I'm in the I would say party promoter world. I wouldn't even say party promoter world. I'm a model, video vixen, party promoter, you name it, I'm everywhere. You really have to put personal and business separate. I can say that for sure, because you will really get tied up in that, and it's a lot.
What do you need to forgive yourself for?
I never thought about that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know what to say right now. That just completely threw me. Being so hard on myself. Thinking I'm not good enough sometimes. Yeah. Being really hard on myself, because I'm really hard on myself. I mean, it's okay to be hard on yourself, but pushing yourself to that limit is just...
You said you're hard on yourself by not thinking you enough. How did that look?
I feel like it isn't enough. I feel like a lot of people don't like to be around me because I'm too much sometimes, or because of my depression or my anxiety, or they just don't like me. I don't know. I just feel like I attract people, but I also push people away very quickly. I'm still learning how to deal with that.
When did you notice that you did that, or notice like that was either a pattern starting to happen?
The last couple of, I would say like the last year. Not the last year.
Okay.
I have a tendency of clinging to people. And I got to stop doing that too. Because I don't like being alone. I hate being alone. Like it actually petrifies me to be alone. But I'm learning it's okay to be by myself sometimes. But I'm a very social person, so I have to go out. Because if I don't, I go crazy.
So do you feel like you got abandonment issues?
I definitely do. My childhood was very traumatic. So, yes.
Who do you think you would forgive?
My stepdad. Everybody pretty much knows this, so it don't bother
Oh.
me. My mom was abused for 9 years by my stepfather, my brother's dad. So, my whole life, I would say from when I was really, really young to about 13, 14, he abused my mom. So it was kind of hard growing up. That's another reason I don't trust men at all.
Mhm.
I don't. Not all men are like that, but because of that, that's why I am the way I am. But definitely got to forgive him because he is no longer here. Passed away a few years ago. He got hit by a hit and run driver. Actually, he was also an alcoholic, so that's another reason why he was abusive. To anybody that's going through that, if you can get out of it, please do. If you need help, reach out. Because domestic violence is real, it's very real. So
I'm sorry you went through that. See stuff. It's not like you don't grasp it until you older.
yeah,
And it don't kick in until you're older, because then it's like you start either getting resentful of it or you start doing what you say.
That's where anxiety comes in at, because it's blocking you.
How would you explain anxiety to somebody that don't know how it feels?
So I could be sitting here right now and it'll feel like I'm like everything's doing this. And my heart's beating really fast and my head just starts hurting really bad. And I feel like I'm gonna pass out. Like, it's kind of weird. I will say, if you've seen a new Inside Out 2, the anxiety character, when she started doing that, that's literally what it feels like.
When was the last time you had a panic attack?
The last time I had a real, real bad panic attack was when I worked at the police station, actually, which was years ago. There was a call that came in and it just triggered me. I don't remember what the call was. Yes, I do. It was a domestic violence call and it completely triggered me. And the crazy thing is, I don't even remember what happened that night. I was actually rushed to the hospital because I was hyperventilating. But I was told that I was actually, there's like the desk right, like the tables right here, and there's like a hallway, and then there's more tables. I was like underneath it, like sitting there, like rocking back and forth, according to what the report said. Like I said, I wasn't listening. I couldn't hear nothing. Like, I was completely just out of it. Panic attacks are real. But I've learned when it comes to panic attacks, if you sit, take a deep breath in, and you breathe out, and just keep doing it, it'll slow your heart rate. If you know anybody with panic attacks, best thing I can say is somebody that deals with them. If you're by them, don't touch them. Don't tell them to breathe. Don't tell them to calm down. Just let them come out of it by themselves. Unless it gets really, really bad, like hyperventilating, you have to call 911.
What's the most terrifying part about having mental health issues?
My thoughts, the thoughts in my head, honestly. That comes down to suicide. I have gotten there. I think this year. I think this year was probably the first year where my thoughts got really, really bad, to where I felt like that. My mom is kind of in the medical field, so she kind of knew how to deal with that. I didn't physically do anything, so she didn't have to report it. But definitely gets to that point.
Have you ever had any suicidal attempts?
I have. They didn't go nowhere. Obviously, I'm still breathing.
That's not
funny, but if you got dark humor, you understand that.
Oh my God. Bro, I only laugh at it because my patients say that when they, like any of my returning patients, when they come back, they was like, it didn't work, Lita.
I get to points where I do feel suicidal. But I wouldn't even say I feel suicidal. I hate living. Like, it's honestly, a lot of people know that about me. I tell people all the time I hate being here. But I just go with the flow.
Like,
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know.
Because
I feel like my life would be so much easier if I'm not here. There's anxiety, I wouldn't have it. Depression, I wouldn't have it.
I don't know. I never really had like any suicide ideations or attempts. So I kind of just be like wanting to know, like, what be the last straw?
If I'm having a really bad day, you just come in there just talking to me about some shit, I'm just gonna be like, look, I'm done. So, like right now, actually, the day that we're actually doing this, whenever she posts this, the day we're doing this is actually July 23rd, 2024. It's actually my aunt's anniversary. Her death anniversary. She's passed away from cancer, June 23rd, 2015. Ever since then, I've hated living here.
When that first happened, do you remember when your mental health started to decline? Was it that first day? Because a lot of people, first day when stuff happens to them, it don't be that. It'd be like months
It
after.
didn't really hit until, like, I knew it was gonna, like, you can't really prepare yourself for somebody to die. I mean, once you find out somebody's prognosis with cancer, then everybody kind of already knows, like, okay, they're gonna go. Especially if you see that it's just going downhill, you know. But I didn't really. I prepared myself, but I really didn't. I remember the day that she passed away. I was actually at her house. We was all at her house. She was to the point where she could hear you, she could feel you, but she couldn't talk. But she could like, but she couldn't really talk. But her hands kind of like they do this.
Clustered up.
They clustered up. That's how we knew she was gonna go. And that night before, I was actually in there talking to her. I don't know what we was talking about. We was just talking about something. I don't know. And then they told us that she passed away. I actually wasn't able to go back there. They wouldn't let me back there because I had just seen her. Literally, had just seen her, and she was gone.
At what point can you feel your mental health declining?
I just get really tired and really irritated. Very irritable. When I'm irritable, I can just know like I gotta like detox. Because if I don't, I'm gonna spiral. Even on antidepressants, that's another thing with the antidepressants. You have to take them every day, and if you miss one, it throws you all the way off. The ones I'm on for anybody that takes antidepressants, I am on Cymbalta.
Oh, okay.
30 milligrams. So if I take them, I have to take them, especially if I'm going out or something. I either have to skip them because you can't drink on antidepressants. You're not supposed to. And if you are, don't. It actually makes it a lot worse. But with that, I usually take them either the night before or when I come home. I don't care how drunk I've gotten, I take them. Because you're really not supposed to skip them. If you skip them, you will withdraw from them. I would say a withdrawal, I don't know if you guys know what brain zaps are. Brain zaps, I would say if you guys get like a really bad headache and it feels like something's like pushing against your temple, that's what a brain zap feels like, and they just get stronger and stronger.
To close out this mental health check-in with Chaz, what do you feel like people need to look out for when they are dealing with someone that has suicidal ideation or are friends with people?
So if you know somebody that is suicidal, sometimes you can actually see, especially if they're cutters. You can look on their arms. You can look on their legs. Sometimes, most of the time, it's going to be on their arms, on their wrist. And then, if you know somebody that's like on pills, like antidepressants, you can also look out for that too. You can tell just by their mood swings. Sometimes they'll actually tell you if they're suicidal. Obviously, if you think they're actually going to do something, either prevent it from happening or call 911 because you can legally go to jail for that if they find out you knew about it. But as far as like the signs, I would say from my personal experience, they get really, really quiet. They kind of just, disappear and you're like, what's going on? So I would just definitely look out for that. If they tell you you're suicidal, definitely talk to them because once they tell you, that means that, or if they're telling you that they're, what's the word I'm looking for? Like they feel really, really low. They might not use the word suicidal because obviously when people hear the word suicidal, they think of police and hospitals. The police are not going to admit you if you did not actually like physically try to commit suicide. Just so people know that. But that's what I would look out for.
That's been our mental health check-in.